Hey guys, welcome back to Montana and how things are made in Montana. So today is obviously part three of a three-part video. Weird how that adds up. So what we're going to be working on, my mold is finally cured. It's my mold plus concrete is finally cured. Anyways, it's 3 days later like I promised, and we're going to take the mold off of our slab and see how it looks. So I'll show you the pre-slab. It's pretty ugly, so if when you pull it off it looks like this one, you're doing it right. Then we'll obviously roll into sanding this concrete slab and making it look like a nice polished product at the end. We'll also finish up with the proper clear coat technique on how to seal these up for food grade use and all the good stuff. So anyways, let's get to it. So here we have our slab from video 2. Have our mold from video 1. If you guys didn't catch those, please go back and give them a look, give them a like, maybe a subscribe. But they're a nice breakout of how we got to point C. And as you can see from this mold, this is going to be the bottom of our product. So the tarp was laying on this. Not concerned about how it looks, but I'll use the grinder in the process for polishing concrete, just to show you how easy it is to make this look nice and flat and finished as well. So this will be a good example of something, if you end up with this finish on the top of your concrete that's still very curable, very workable. Hopefully you don't, but what we'll do now is I'll go around, take off all the screws throughout this whole mold. I'll set this camera up so you can see me doing it, the proper way to pull this mold off of your slab. So let's get that set up, and I'll show you guys how that works. Okay, we are ready to remove the mold, and I will show you guys how to do that properly on a slab. So obviously the first things you need to do is remove all of your support screws. So we'll get that done really fast. And then hopefully, if this is set up right, you can just take each of these side panels and just peel them away. Just like so. Sometimes they're a little bit harder to get apart. But same thing with the bottom. If your slab's light enough, you can just pick it up, take it right out of the mold, flip it over, and it turned out pretty darn good. You guys can see that. We don't have a ton of rock pockets. We got a few little tiny ones, but all in all, it looks pretty darn good for what we're gonna do. So I will turn this off and we'll get to the fun part, sanding of the slab, and we'll show you the proper way to do that, and I'll get right back to you guys when I get that all set up. Okay guys, so we are about to start wet sanding. Finally, it is definitely not 3 days later. It's about 2.5 weeks later. We had snow and it got cold and I didn't feel like getting wet, but today is finally a beautiful day in Montana. So let's get to the material you're going to need to do your wet sanding of your new formed concrete block. You're going to need obviously your sanding pads. Now I bought these off of Amazon. These are the cheap pads. I think it was $12.99 for this full set, and they work great. I haven't had any issues with them. For what I do, they work as well as the fancy pads. I've used those as well, but these do, for probably what most of you guys are doing. This is probably all you'll need, and they work just like sandpaper. So lowest being 50, so that's your thickest grit, will take off the most material in the shortest amount of time, all the way up to 3000, which is your super fine grit. They all look exactly the same, but it'll take off the least amount, made for smoothing and making your project look super smooth and polished. I have yet to use 3000. I use 800 the most, and you can see how thick that pad is. It's been used quite a bit, and I use 800, and I wouldn't recommend, if you're going to do a clear coat, going past this, because the clear coat will not stick and chip off. So if you make this too smooth, the clear coat that you put on for your finish won't have anything to stick to. So just a heads up, it's like painting a car or anything else. You make it too smooth, nothing can stick to it. So same goes for concrete. So I don't have a fancy sander comparative to, you know, like the professionals use. So professionals, typically a hose hooks to this, similar sander, and water will come out of the center of this. I improvised and used a garden hose, which works just as well. So you guys don't need to buy the fancy sanders for this. It did give me a reason, however, to buy a new Dewalt random orbital sander, and it's got an adjustable speed on it. So a lot of these pads run at specific speeds, meaning, you know, these can only rotate without destroying the pads about 3,000 rotations per minute. And fortunately, this is exactly how fast this thing spins when the dial is maxed out. So next thing, obviously you need your concrete pad, and then a tarp to catch all your slurry. So as you're sanding this material flat, all this stuff comes out in a big, you know, wet, nasty slurry, and you want to catch that, keep it from getting into your driveway or into your grass or any of that kind of stuff. Yeah, so obviously you're going to need some water. So we got water. This is a lot similar to the video I created about 3 months ago, except I've improved my video capabilities significantly. So anyways, I will put this on pause, get it mounted up so we can get to wet sanding some of this concrete and show you how these pads work. Okay, so we will first start out with our 50 grit disc. So we're going to want to take off as much material as possible. So the basic design of all these sanders is a hook and loop design, meaning it's Velcro. So all you do is you take your pad, lay it on your sander, and you spray your new block down with a little water, and you just put this basically right on the concrete pad and just slowly start it up. It's super messy, so I would recommend wearing clothes that you don't care about getting dirty or getting ruined. So and then, so you can see, I think you should be able to see from the video. I'll zoom in a little while once we get more of the sanding done, but you can already see where it's starting to sand off the flat matte color. So where you thought maybe this wasn't going to be a shiny, nice project, you sand off that top layer, and the aggregate starts to really show through on the slab. So I will, what I'll do is sand this more and zoom in so you guys can really see this and how this starts to turn out as a really nice project. So you're just keeping it wet enough to keep these pads cool and to help them clean themselves out, because this is all diamond encrusted pads, so they heat up and the water helps keep them cool. Otherwise they just burn out and they won't last near as long. And you're also, like I said, just cleaning out all the nasty aggregate that you're grinding away. So I will try and zoom in so you can really see the difference, and I'll do some more of the sanding with it close up. Okay, so what I'll do now is put this thing on hold, and I'll do some more sanding on this. You guys don't have to watch me do this whole block, but I'll get back to you when I get a little bit closer to being done with it and describe what I'm doing and what you guys should see for your end project. Okay, now we are sanded for the most part complete in the middle. And I wanted to show you guys the difference between, you know, what you'll get for your matte finish if you don't do any sanding. Bring it in close for the rock finish at /aggregate. So the deeper you sand into this, the more rocks will end up showing through. So all these little sanded rocks and everything will start to really pop. And then you come back through with your clear coat, and it will look, you know, without me doing a clear coat, it'll look just like this when it's done. It'll just have a wet finish to it, and that's really all there is to it. If you start getting these little holes, so these are little rock pocket areas where I didn't vibrate the concrete well enough, what you do is you get a cement mixture, just Portland cement, make it to a toothpaste consistency, and just come back and touch up these little holes wherever you have them. They blend right in. So the next thing that I won't go into, but I'll show you guys what I use because I get a lot of questions about this, is the sealer that I use for all of my interior concrete slabs and counters that we make. I always get interior, exterior, and verify that it is food grade safe. So a lot of these are not. Most of them are made for outdoor application, but this one's for indoor. And you know, my previous video I showed you a complete counter that we did, and that one was used with this, so we can have it in the kitchen and cut food on it, and it's, you know, we're told it's safe for food. Nobody's died yet, but I guess, you know, give it a few years and I may change that statement. So anyways, yeah, that's all there is to it. Feel free to drop me questions and I'll do whatever I can to help you guys in your adventures with these concrete countertops. Well, okay, there you have it, guys. There's 3 videos. I hope that you enjoyed the series. I hope that they were helpful. I'm gonna clean up my garage now. It's all messy, but it was a good use of spare materials that I wasn't gonna use anywhere else, and to share that with you and show you guys that it's really easy to do concrete countertops is awesome. So I hope that I hope you guys give it a try. Send me some pictures. It'd be cool to see what you guys do. As always, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you later.